There's a couple of problems with Mark Anthony's logic, as always. So I guess it's not a couple of problems, it's everything. And the issue here is that he seems convinced that YouTube can file some kind of lawsuit against me because I say I will shoot them if I see them. Well, for one, this implies that I would actually be able to shoot them. As I said in the video previously, it's a very off chance. The likelihood of me coming into contact with a YouTube staff member and knowing it is slim to none. So that's not a very hard basis to sue somebody over. In fact, you would be setting yourself up for a counter lawsuit because of that. Because you can't just go around suing people and hurting them like that without some kind of repercussion. And on top of that, you keep saying under American law. That implies that I'm American. Am I American? Because if I'm not, then American law does not apply to me. Now, you could argue that it would probably be illegal in just about any country, but the transition between suing somebody outside of your own country and, in your country, it kind of turns into 50 Shades of Gray there. Because it's very hard to, go through with that. So, no, there's nothing that YouTube can do about what I say. The only thing they can do is ban me, which they were going to fucking do anyway. That's what you all need to understand. Don't be afraid to speak your mind. Don't be afraid to say mean things. Yes, even violent and hateful things. Because there's nothing they can't fucking do to you that they weren't gonna do to begin with. They want to hurt you. They want to attack you. They want to terrorize you. So it is up to you to set the bar of what your standard is and for what reason. If you want to argue that, threatening people and things like that is not a way to make your argument, fine. I'll give you that. I'll give you that it is not, it's easier to attract flies with honey than vinegar argument. However, this implies that I'm trying to attract anybody. This implies that I give a damn because I know full well nobody fucking cares. I mean, yes, there are a few people that care, but not large enough for me to care about what I'm saying personally. In other words, why am I going to watch my language for the vast majority that don't give a shit that their rights are being trampled upon? That makes no sense. I'm not trying to convert anybody. I'm not trying to start a church here. I'm just saying that this is the way it is. This is the way it's going to be unless you do something about it. And I'm telling you, don't be afraid to do something about it. Don't be afraid to say something about it. And, isn't it something how you can say that, oh, by American law, Alex Jones and David Icke should both be in jail. Well, Alex Jones anyway, because David Icke isn't American. So, it comes down to Alex Jones is libeling the president and other politicians. He is inciting violence against political figures. I think that's a lot worse than what I'm doing. And not only has Alex Jones not been arrested, but he makes a lot of fucking money for it. So clearly there is no law being broken here. And if there is, then it only applies to certain people. And if it only applies to certain people, then it isn't a legitimate law. It is simply force and coercion as implemented by guys with guns pretending they have authority because they wear nice pretty badges or something. There is a difference between law and authority and between violence, coercion, and thuggery. Now, mind you, that line tends to blur all the time, but there is a difference. Legitimate authority does not simply say you can't do that. There are reasons behind it. See, if we lived in an actual rule of law in Western society, YouTube and Google would have been shut down a long time ago. They break more laws than anybody, and because of the laws they break, they make billions of dollars. That makes them far more dangerous than anyone that abuses their wife, anybody that rapes a child, anybody that just goes on a mass killing spree. I don't care how fucking crazy you are. You are not capable of being as dangerous as the callous and malevolent force of corporate enterprise. There's just no fucking way. You are not calculated enough. You do not have the right friends. You do not have the right connections. So why aren't those people in jail? The only argument you can make is that they're too big to fail, that society revolves around them, and that if you take them out of the equation, it will destabilize society, and that would make things worse than if you just allow them to get away with their crimes. I call this the Lex Luthor principle, because in Superman comics, the reason why nobody touches Lex Luthor is because they're afraid of what would happen, not only to them personally, pissing off Lex Luthor, but the fact that Lex Luthor is such a multi-trillion-dollar tycoon that to take him out of the equation of Metropolis and the DC universe as a whole would destabilize Western economies, global economies, and things like that. So that's your argument, that Google and YouTube and Facebook and all of them are Lex Luthor, and that doing anything to them would result in chaos and destruction, and we can't risk it, even though they are doing very vastly evil, ghastly things, and they're doing far more criminal activity than the people that threaten them. See? So that's why I say you're full of shit, because you are defending multi-billion-dollar criminals, which is far worse than me saying some bullshit, no matter how much bullshit it happens to be. You know, this is why I have sympathy for criminals, for low-level criminals. You know, people like, I don't even know, someone that drives drunk or, you know, kills his wife with a golf club. I don't fucking know. The point here is that those people are not actually dangerous to society. They are dangerous personally. Yeah, I don't think you would want to be around them, but all in all, when you look at it in the bigger picture, they aren't hurting anybody. They aren't hurting anybody to the magnitude it would take to affect society, factually. But Google, YouTube, and Facebook are. So why do they get away with it? Is that what it takes? Is that how the criminal justice system and good and evil work? Where it's only bad if it's minorly bad, if it's this big, but when it's a great magnitude of bad, suddenly it's good. If you make enough left turns, you go right. Is that how this shit works? Because that's what you're saying. So no, YouTube is not going to do shit against me. Because if YouTube were to try to, it would only invite more attention to themselves. And even if they wanted to, there is no guarantee they can, because there are things like national borders and even state borders and things like that. If we just happen to live in a different state within the United States, there are certain variables that have to be considered about different state laws. What if their state has better self-defense clauses than my state, or vice versa? Yes, I argue that what I say is a form of self-defense. It's intellectual self-defense. And if I happen to shoot them, it's physical self-defense because they fucking earned the right to get shot. They have earned that happening to them for all they've done to me. So, no, I'm not afraid of YouTube doing any shit to me. I could sing a fucking little song and dance. I killed a moderator and I think I liked it. I hope my parole officer don't mind it. There's nothing the fucking law is going to do to me. And there's nothing the law is going to do to you. So just say what you got to say while you still can, because I guarantee you the moderators will take that right away from you at some point in time. So that's really all I have to say for now.